Thank you. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalists of Southold. Whoever you are, wherever you come from, whomever you love, we welcome you. Today we are gathered on the traditional lands of the Amanhasset Nation. My name is Randy Wade, and I'm on the Board of Trustees of this congregation. We are so glad to see you, whether you are visiting for the first time or come often. If you're not on our mailing or email list, please sign our guest book on the high desk. You will receive the Free Spirit monthly newsletter and hear about upcoming events. Please like us on Facebook page and stream our YouTube channel. We stream our services on YouTube, where you can find past services too. The entry hall has lots of information about our congregation, events, and sign-up sheets for various volunteer activities, committees, and events. It's open to all, both members and non-members. Please stay after service for coffee and refreshments. And, on the back of the order of service are a lot of events coming up. Like today, there's the North Fork Action Center at 4 if you're concerned about national values. And There is an art exhibition that has just gone up, but the reception is going to be next Saturday from when is the reception? What? 4 to 6 is the reception next Saturday, but it's open during the days on the weekends. Yoga and meditation, you will feel so relaxed as you walk out, is 10:30 on Tuesday right here. And Charlotte has a master piano class on Wednesdays at 3. There's going to be, our minister is moving out on Monday, and next weekend is going to be a tag sale, Friday and Saturday, 12 to 2, in the parsonage, which is going to become our 4-bedroom, 1.5-bath rental when we get it freshened. And we could really use help if anybody's interested in that kind of thing. And there's a May Day teach-in on this next Friday from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. with really interesting talks from 4 to 6 and videos in the conference room. And it'll be wonderful with vegan and beef hot dogs at 6 to 7. And you can read the rest yourself. And now, where are we in this? Oh, now could you take a moment to greet you? Oh, no. Does anybody else have any announcements for the life of the congregation?
In addition to the wonderful photography exhibit, and you can, if you walk around, you'll see the photographs. They're spectacular. The artist is going to come and speak with us next Sunday about art as a spiritual practice, and she's willing to give us a nice tour and tell us about all of her photographs. So I hope you'll all join us here next week.
And I just want to add about the art show that I do have a list of the titles, but we don't have the labels on yet, so that the show officially begins in a couple days. But if you see anything you like, feel free to ask me or Susan or anyone else. And for the congregation, I'm just looking for more volunteers that might be able to help on the weekends, because it will be Saturdays 2 to 4, and Sundays 1 to 3. So, and anybody that can contribute anything for the reception as well, just see me or Susan. That'd be great. Okay, thanks. And if anybody wants to see An Unseen Woman, today is the last show. It is pay what you want on the last day. So it starts at 2 o'clock today.
Thank you. Also, our next really important fundraiser is going to happen the end of June. I believe it's the 26th, and it's an auction for goods and services. Please consider any of your treasures that you would be willing to auction off, including your talents, your cooking abilities, whatever you could offer, we'd be most appreciative. There's a blank page out on the, a lined page out on the desk on the action table, and that's where you can put in things you'd be willing to donate and let us know whether you can join us.
And now, take a moment to greet your neighbor.
Good where the microphone is?
It's very good.
wrong bell.
Well,
At times when our own light goes out and is rekindled by a spark from another person, each of us has cause to think with deep gratitude of those who have lighted the flame within us. Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Shelley Tupper, and I'm delighted to be your guest this morning. I grew up in New York City, and for a while we lived right around the corner from a beautiful brick church. But it wasn't our church. I wondered why we couldn't go there when it was just at the corner of our block. Our church was darker, more traditional. We dressed up. I remember those patent leather Sunday school shoes. I loved them. We weren't particularly religious, but my mom had grown up an Episcopalian, and it meant a lot to her. There was this lovely minister, Clark Oler, who was so welcoming and made you feel like you mattered. But by adolescence, I was out of there. Zero interest. I think that's pretty normal, so I drifted for years. It wasn't until my 30s when I stumbled into my first UU church. I was living in a small town, and I could hear my mother's voice in the background. When you move to a new town, you join a club or a church. You have to find your people. So I thought, okay, I'll see what this is. Little did I know that some people thought that's where people go that don't believe in God. As if it were some sort of disease. I'm sorry to say. All I know is that I felt very welcome and I could choose what I believed. So later, back in New York, I found All Souls. It turned out to be the brick church that was on the corner from when I was a little girl. I wasn't really looking for a church, I was looking for community. I had no idea what I was walking into at first. I had no idea I was walking into a community where I could contribute, where I could show up, where I could give back, and find real purpose in doing it. And now doing this, which is teaching and facilitating and sharing positive psychology, something that I love, 30 years later, it feels like the fullest circle of all. I'm happy to be here this morning with you. And now, if you'll join me in hymn number 361, Enter, Rejoice, and Come In. Enter, rejoice, and come in. enter, rejoice, and come in. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Open your ears to the song. Open your ears to the song. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Open your hearts, everyone. Open your hearts, everyone. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. And now the words of affirmation in unison. Love is in the spirit of this congregation, and service its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. And now in unison. From all that dwell below the skies, let words of hope and of peace arise. Let joyful songs of praise be sung through every land, by every tongue.
This morning, the offering will greatly be received. The offering we take each Sunday is an opportunity to recommit to this place and to these people. It is as much a ritual as singing together, lighting the chalice, or reciting our affirmation. And this is the time, one of my favorite times, where you're invited to come up and share a stone of joy or sorrow. Anybody want to put a stone in the water?
I'll put a stone in the water because we're having our 8th Repair Cafe, North Fork Environmental Council, this weekend at the on Peconic Lane at the Southold Rec Center. So what that means is Southold Town has decided to join with us in doing a repair cafe where people can bring things from their homes that are not working or broken or torn, and we have coaches who will help you fix them, and that means we reduce waste and reduce consumption and create community and help people get skilled in like screwdrivers and things. So that's 12 to 4 this Saturday, and it's a joy because it's a great thing to do. Yeah, this Saturday, May 2nd. Right. Thank you. I'll put in a stone. Thanks for letting me announce this.
She's doing it because I forgot to tell everybody in the announcements. It's really a fun event and really speaks to how we have to take better care of our earth. My joy is to see everybody here today. This is a a beautiful building that we took 11 years to build. And it is just a place of love and hope, and it sustains me and most of us who are here through these really difficult times. I went to a fundraiser for the Rural Migrant Ministry last night, and there was so much talk about all that they're doing for the migrants, and so much sorrow that they can't do enough. So thank you all for being here. I would like to add one historical note. Those of you who put an offering into our wonderful place should know that Susie Young's husband made them out of wood that was left over from the building that burned down.
I'd like to put a stone of concern in the tank, for lack of better words. The homeless program that I volunteer for closes down operations at the end of winter, so our last week was the end of March. And I always find that week to be really difficult because all you can think of is, where do they go? And so anyway, I'm going to put a stone of concern in that they're in safe places, the people who are unhoused. And I'm also going to put a stone in the food pantry that I volunteer for. A couple of months ago, we were flush with donations, and now there's a lot of empty spaces on the shelves, so I'm going to hope that we get some donations to fill up the shelves.
Let us remember there are always joys and sorrows that go unspoken for many reasons, but we are not alone as we hold one another in our hearts.
And our responsive reading is number 657. It matters what we believe. Some beliefs are like walled gardens. They encourage exclusiveness and the feeling of being especially privileged. Other beliefs are expansive and lead the way into wider and deeper sympathies. Some beliefs are like shadows, clouding children's days with fears of unknown calamities. Other beliefs are like sunshine, blessing children with the warmth of happiness. Some beliefs are divisive, separating the saved from the unsaved, friends from enemies. Bonds in a world community where sincere differences beautify the pattern. Some beliefs are like blinders, shutting off the power to choose one's own direction. Opening wide vistas for exploration. Some beliefs weaken a person's selfhood. They blight the growth of resourcefulness. Other beliefs nurture self-confidence and enrich the feeling of personal worth. Some beliefs are rigid, like the body of death, impotent in a changing world. Other beliefs are pliable. Stronger together, the science of happiness, community, and well-being. I know it's a big theme, but I promise to share some things that are light and hopefully inspiring, especially not being a minister, so I apologize. But my subject is just that, the science of happiness, community, and well-being. And here's why I wanted to be here today. This new, beautiful space feels amazing and full of light, full of potential, and full of hope. And I think that you would agree that we could all use a little more hope and a little more happiness these days. And hope for all of Southold, not just those that are in this space, but all of us that are here together. So that's where positive psychology can come in. I am a practitioner in positive psychology, and I teach the basic tools that come from research and the science of happiness and human flourishing. And flourishing not only sounds lovely, it's a great place to be. For those of you that may not know about positive psychology, it was started at the University of Pennsylvania by Dr. Martin Seligman, a professor of psychology for many years. In fact, he still teaches there. And at one point in his career in the 90s, he started to really question traditional psychology. He started to say, after over a century of looking what's wrong with people, what if we were to look at what's right, what works, what's good, what their strengths are? What if we were to focus on that? He became president of the American Psychological Association in 1998. And in front of all of the association, all of his contemporaries, he posed that rather dramatic question. And he had begun already to examine how can we continue to help people, not just those that are damaged or have trauma and need the care of traditional psychology. There was no question about giving up on traditional psychology. It was taking a look at things from a different perspective. That is really where positive psychology was born, in that speech in 1998, that radical thinking. So I ask you, if you were to consider something like that, if you were to look at someone that you know quite well and look at them from the perspective of what's good about them, even someone that you know quite well that has quite a few weaknesses and maybe is not so positive, but if you were to look at them from where their strengths are, imagine how that might feel if you were to actually tell them, this is what I see in you. Imagine not only how that would make the other person feel, but imagine how it would make you feel. And that is, quite simply, one of the tools in positive psychology. They are made up of positive interventions, where we examine things from a different viewpoint, as an example. So I say try it on for size. Maybe someone that you meet for the very first time. Instead of allowing your brain to go and start to judge what you think that person might be like, what if you were to say, I'm going to be curious as to what might be the more positive qualities in this person. What might be the gifts that they offer? It's one of those what I call micro tools. I first heard about positive psychology in 2015. I was getting ready to go to work, hustling. My phone was dinging with all sorts of texts at the time from unhappy clients or people on my team that wanted something, and it wasn't even 8 o'clock in the morning. And it was a typical start to a stressful day in my exciting but very, very demanding job at the time. And out of the corner of my ear, I could hear on the news something that sounded like, one of those light and more happy segments, all about World Happiness Day. And my first reaction was, oh my God, it's another one of those made-up holidays. But as I hustled around getting dressed and getting ready, I heard more. I heard words like resilience. I heard words like flourishing, thriving, happy. And I stopped for a moment to actually listen. And what I first heard was about positive psychology. And there was enough in just having my ear out for it for a moment that led me to be very curious. Was there a course? Was there a program? How could I learn more? Well, I learned that I could go to the University of Pennsylvania and study under Dr. Martin Seligman, who founded positive psychology, but I really wasn't in a position to do that. So I kept seeking out more information, and I found a course where I could become certified as a practitioner in applied positive psychology. So in 2016, I had signed up and I had gone through the program, but needless to say, I let it sit for a while. Every now and then I'd talk about how I had learned so much in positive psychology, but I continued to work like a dog, as I had done, and just let it sit in the background for some time. But ultimately, I went from what was a very exciting career, but one that left me very burnt out, to work in a field that allows me to choose the clients that I work with and teach and talk about resilience and happiness skills. That's very happy-making. And I learned that happiness is not just something that you have or you don't have. There's research that says that 50% of humans are happy based on genetics. So I'm lucky. I grew up in a very happy home. I was very fortunate and had a very happy mom. So some of those genes rubbed off on me. But 10% of happiness is due to life circumstances. And we can all relate to the fact that there are some people that are just born into the most complicated and difficult of circumstances. And then there's 40%. And there's where the hope lies. Because 40% is where we can choose. Now, I know it's not that simple. And positive psychology is not happyology or just think positive. Because there's a little problem that we all have. From the beginning of dawn, from the beginning of mankind, it was called the negativity bias. And we all have it. It's there from the beginning of time. It was really meant as a survival tool, because if you think back to early mankind, there was a lot of scary stuff outside the cave. Not only was it probably scary in the environment that humans first lived in, but there was terrible, freezing cold weather and hard to find food. Not to mention the woolly monster. So if you worry about whether or not you're really a happy person, just know that you're already having to contend with the negativity bias. Fortunately, our brains have developed, and we have as a more developed brain, we have more neuroplasticity, which is something that we can work to train our brain to be less negative and more positive. So, some of the practices that I know that you've probably heard of and maybe already practiced today are gratitude. And it doesn't just mean that you've got to do a gratitude journal and write in the 3 things that you're grateful for. It can be ever so slight. It can be as simple as, it's not raining right now. That's wonderful. I was very grateful that it wasn't raining when I got here this morning. So practicing gratitude is one. Savoring good moments. Savoring just the word. If you say the word savor and you say it gently and softly, right there you can sort of feel a little bit more positive. But it could be savoring a great conversation with a friend. It could be, wow, that was something just special, that what we talked about. Thank you. And like all of the activities that you're starting here at the UU of Southold, engaging in new activities, learning something new. I started to see how many mahjong clubs are starting around how many activities and dance classes and music, everything that you have going on here. And then switching from negativity. So that's the tough one, because all of us do it. I've had plenty of training, and I still can be negative. But what you have to try to do is train your brain when you have a negative thought, or you start to spiral. And we all can relate. I'm seeing some nodding heads and some smiling faces, that it's human, it's natural, because that negative bias just kicks in. But you can rewire your brain when you start to actually notice. So remember how I said, again, that 40% of it is up to us. One of the other things that we can do starting tomorrow is what is called the 3-to-1 ratio. It's actually described as the critical positivity ratio, and it was started by Dr. Barbara Fredrickson out of the University of Virginia, just in case you want to look her up. She has a lot of great information. But it is a way that you can flourish. And the 3-to-1 is that for every bit of negativity, you need 3 positive things to happen. So tomorrow morning, Monday, you get up, what do? You have your coffee, you have your tea, but some of you turn on the news. And we all know that the news is 5 minutes of news can give you a pretty good bang for your day in terms of negativity. I'm not suggesting, and I'm looking at my husband, that we don't listen to the news because we want to be aware of what's going on in the world. As horrific as it is, we need to know what's happening. But for every 5 minutes of news, you need 3 times that, so 15 minutes of something pleasant, of something pleasurable. And that will help balance the negativity. So 15 minutes, call a good friend. Talk about having a lovely day. Go out for a walk, take the dog, go appreciate nature, turn on some beautiful music. And you can do this in the course of your day. If you have a challenging conversation or something happens where something goes awry, you've got a leak, in your house, something that we can all relate to at one time or another. Something comes up for each of us. Turn and switch and try to train your brain. Now, I know a lot of you are aware of the Harvard study on happiness. This was the largest survey that was done over an 80-year period with thousands of participants. And they found that the #1 predictor of a happy life is our relationships. That speaks to me. That speaks to me not only in having friendship, but also in having community, like UU of Southold. So connection, I feel, is key, that belonging and being part of a community is life-affirming. We flourish together, and that's very important for our well-being. And since we all know what's happening in the world, I remember as soon as I walked in, someone said, "Oh, we sure could use some of this positivity with what's going on in the world." You're right. It's loud, it's angry, it's us versus them, and I think that all of us feel like it's just just a heavy weight that we can't completely lift. I find myself saying over and over again, what the heck? What the heck is going on? I sometimes say something a little bit different. But obviously, with the wars, plural, with the suffering, with the threat to our community and other communities with ICE, with what's happening politically, what's happening all over the country and all over the world. But then again, what might be happening to any one of us individually? The stress that any one of us could be managing, a surprise health situation, someone taking care of someone in our own family, some sort of financial trouble or relationship challenge. Any number of things could be happening to any one of us. So we're hungry. We're thirsty for more. We're hungry for, while we may not know it, and what can help us in the midst of all this noise is a little more community. And I read this recently from a positive psychology publication, and it struck me. Community has long offered benefits from boosts in psychological and physical health to richer social relationships. Yet the impacts of community engagement extend far beyond the individual, creating opportunities for group cohesion and collaboration to solve societal problems. While I don't know everything about UU of Southold and the community here, I do know enough about UUism that what you all offer is the openness, the outreach, the willingness to say that everyone here is welcome. Because there are some people who don't even know about UU of Southold and what it stands for. So I hope that feels more hopeful that this beautiful space can fill up with even more people and more opportunity of community for what it can do for you and for others. With this incredible space, I've already imagined events that can happen here. Because happiness and flourishing are more available than we think, and community is where we find it. And together we'll be stronger and more resilient and not just survive, but actually thrive. Thank you, and peace. Now is the accepted time, not tomorrow, not some more convenient season. It is today that our best work can be done, and not some future day or future year. It is today that we fit ourselves for the greater usefulness of tomorrow. Today is the seed time. Now are the hours of work, and tomorrow comes the harvest and the playtime. And now our closing hymn, number 6, Just as Long as I Have Breath. Just as long as I have breath, I must answer yes to life. Through the pain I make my way, still with hope I meet each day. If they ask what I did well, tell them I say yes to life. Just as long as vision lasts, I must answer yes to truth. In my dream and in my dark, always that elusive spark. If they ask what I did well, tell them I said yes to true. Just as long as my heart beats, I must answer yes to love. Disappointment pierced me through, still I kept on loving you. If they ask what I did best, tell them I said yes to love. As we close the service, I'd like to suggest that we reflect on 2 simple questions. What does this community give you, and what do you love about this community? When we join in the coffee hour, it would be nice to share with perhaps someone you don't know your thoughts on community. What does this community give you, and what do you love about this community? It may be the community of UU of Southold, but if you're not from or a part of the UU congregation, what do you love about the community of Southold?
What? We extinguish this flame.